Good evening to our friends in India and good morning to our friends in Canada. Welcome to this very important session at the Nasscom International SME Conclave with our partner country, Canada. I'm super excited to be a part of this session. It's not just because we have an esteemed set of panelists today from the governments in Canada, both at a federal as well as regional level, along with our government, but also the fact that we are going to be making a very important announcement for the SMEs companies, and we've chosen the right forum to do that, which is a launch pad. And the third, I'm told, is the record registrations about 3,000 people with 1,500 companies. It doesn't get bigger than this. Why Canada? And I think it's very important to understand that. And when we look at the US and Canada for the tech companies that we represent, Canada forms a very small part. I see this as a huge opportunity to grow. And for our Canadian guests, in terms of the contribution that our companies are making, we just contributed about $57 billion in terms of last research we did some time back to the US GDP, which I'm told was more than 5 states in the US, as well as employing more than 500,000 direct and indirect jobs. So that's the kind of contribution. And the question which begs us is there a way that we could look at first in a small way, doubling this bilateral trade? And I see a High Commissioner, as a High Commissioner pointed out, technology sector is the linchpin of this growth story. And I think this is where it is very important from our perspective that we've been focusing on the Canadian market. I just want to take a step back and look at where we were in 2019. We were not doing anything major with the Canadian market. In 2019, we started with an in-person program. We followed it up with virtual programs at Collision and then Canada Week. And in 2021, what we now call it as a tagline, against all odds, we did a program in November, which was attended by about 45 representatives in November, out of which 20 companies have already decided or are setting up or have set up and are creating 200 jobs in Canada in the next 3 years. And these are SME companies. So while our large companies are making such a huge difference, our SME companies, are doing their own bit to look at, growing in Canada. And it's not, difficult to understand why. I think if you look at it, whether it's the USMCA or the free trade agreements which Canada has with a number of countries, or leadership in technology, including AI, or the incubation and accelerators that you have, and talent partnerships, I think that you're looking at. I think these are all very favorable areas that we could look to work together. For our small companies, I think who are looking to set up, there were 5 or 6 things that they wanted from us. So we looked at those and said, how could we deliver it for our companies? And I must thank each and every participant here and speaker who supported us in this endeavor. So they said, we want to have a low initial cost while we look to set up in Canada. How do we build credibility? Because we are a small company, no one knows us. And although we are doing a lot of good work, how do we optically raise the profile of that? How do you connect us with partners? Legal, regulatory, and other things are a bit of a challenge. And keeping that in mind, we said, we're going to set up a launch pad. And that's the announcement today, where we're looking at a launch pad in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and the city of Brampton. And I already mentioned the numbers that we talk about. And this gives us flexibility. And the launch pad that we are signing is being done when companies are already doing it. So it's, we kind of see that it's not just something for the sake of signing. And by the way, it's open to all of you companies who are here on this session. And then we are doing another program, which I must tell you is between April 26th to the 6th of May. And we've already seen tremendous feedback. We have about 40 plus confirmations already. So this is phenomenal. I want to express my deepest gratitude to Andrew and Varun from the Canadian team, High Commission, who really worked super hard to make this possible. Also, our High Commissioner Canada, Ajay Bisaria, and his team. I think we couldn't have done it without you. Even the round table that you sat on in an informal way, High Commissioner, with a bunch of companies became history. They learned so much from you. So huge thanks to you and your presence and all your support. And also huge thanks to all the regional, governments as well. So I will be individually introducing ministers as well as our mayor from Brampton. But thank you so much, for all the support that you provide. So I'll stop here, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Debjani Ghosh, who is the president of Nasscom. Debjani is a firm believer in the power of technology in enhancing lives and livelihoods and leveraging it for societal good. And she does a lot of things, but she's been honored in 2018 by the President of India under the auspices of the First Ladies Program, as well as Vogue declaring her as the Tech Leader of the Year 2020. Without much ado, Debjani, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shivendra. And welcome all of you. Welcome everyone. And I hope the conference is going really well. But this is an incredibly special session. And I do want to welcome all the dignitaries who have joined us, and also share my thanks to the High Commissioners, both the High Commissioners who are here and who are partnering with us every step of the way to ensure that we can continue to strengthen this tremendously valuable partnership that we have. When I look at the India-Canada bilateral ties, I do believe that it's underpinned by very strong shared values of democracy, diversity, expanding economic engagement, and very long-standing people-to-people ties. And that gives me tremendous hope, because that's building blocks to extremely robust foundation on which we can build. I want to take a minute to talk about the tech opportunity and the tech industry in India. Today, India is home to our 227 billion tech industry and growing. And the opportunity ahead that we see is absolutely unprecedented. And I do believe that this is the time when we have to leverage technology, the power of innovation, and the power of this industry to significantly strengthen the bilateral ties that I just talked about. Today, of the 227 billion total revenue that this industry generates, roughly around 178 billion is from exports. And in the last 2 years, what we have seen, in the past, it used to be primarily driven out of one country. But in the last 2 years, what we have seen is a significantly, I would say, broadening of the portfolio, with very healthy growth across Europe, across UK, across emerging markets. And I think that gives me tremendous hope that we can definitely, and I think the industry is now ready to definitely strengthen its ties across markets, across countries. The industry delivered the fastest growth in more than a decade last year at 15.5% annual growth. And we do believe that the opportunities are all there for us to deliver a double-digit growth over the next few years and reach the 350 billion mark by 2026 in 5 years. So that basically means adding $150 billion to the industry in the next 5 years. And the point to note here is that the growth is not just being driven by the so-called large companies. I mean, they are doing fabulously well. But what is tremendously heartening to see is that we are seeing growth across every single sector: startups, SMEs, large companies, cutting across products, services, um, across sectors from healthcare to fintech to education. Every single sector is showing accelerated growth potential, and we do believe that the best is yet to come. But to fuel this growth, we need talent, we need innovative ecosystems, we need win-win partnerships. I think partnerships today are critical for success in the era of digital transformation. No country, no company can do it alone. And this is where a strong and focused partnership with Canada, a strategic win-win partnership, can tremendously help both sides. And the timing cannot be better. I do believe that the Nasscom launchpad that Shivendra talked about, that we will be announcing today, is a great step forward. It's a brilliant step forward. It's geared at one of the highest potential segments, which the SME, the tech SME segments, which is also the bedrock of the tech industry as well as the Indian economy. However, I think this is a first step, and it's an early step. It's absolutely in the right direction, but definitely there is a lot more to be done. We should urgently explore how we can play a critical role to boost bilateral trade, leveraging technology. And I know Shivendra talked about 2x. I would say, why not aim for 10x? I mean, this is the time when the world is going through a rapid digitization, and the role of technology, or the role technology will play, is, I mean, it's become the lifeline. It's become the lifeline for survival. And I think this is the time when we have to think big. When I think about the unique capabilities that each country brings in, you have tremendous talent in Canada, you have cutting edge innovation, especially in emerging technology. And then you look at India. India is the country today, when you think about scale, talent at scale, inclusion at scale, impact at scale. There is no other country out there that is talking about inclusive technology impact the way India is demonstrating it to the world today, via it is Aadhaar, financial inclusion, or our CoWIN platform driving vaccinations for billions of people. I think this is just a tremendously exciting time, and this is the right time to think differently about how we need to partner to achieve exponential results. And I look forward to working with you, Cameron, His Excellency Cameron MacKay, and High Commissioner Canada and India, His Excellency Ajay Bisaria, High Commissioner India in Canada. I think if we work together, we can achieve anything. And I really look forward to working with you to achieve this goal. Thank you very much. And back to you, Shivendra.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Debjani. And I think we will definitely take you up on the 10x targets. And absolutely, partnership is critical in the era of digital transformation. And that is something we probably are going to be working intensively to try and build from various areas that we are working on.Moving on, can I now introduce His Excellency Cameron MacKay, who's a career diplomat with foreign policy. I think there is a bit of echo. Can you look at it? Can you look at it, please? Okay. So before his assignment to India, he was Canada's ambassador to Indonesia and Timor-Leste. And High Commissioner, we really look forward to working with you. You've come into India, and I think it's at that time when the tech industry engagement is really growing by leaps and bounds. I think how do we keep growing the momentum is what we need to do together. Over to you, High Commissioner.
Shivendra, thank you so much for that that introduction. And Debjani, thank you for not only for leading Nasscom and organizing this event, but for those inspiring remarks just now about technology and the role that Canada has to play. I couldn't agree more. I do want to acknowledge, of course, that we have some other very distinguished Canadian speakers tonight. Susan Corkum-Greek, the Minister of the Department of Economic Development in Nova Scotia, and Arlene Dunn, Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, Economic Development and Small Business Opportunities and Immigration from New Brunswick. Of course, the Mayor of Brampton himself, Patrick Brown. And then on the Indian side, my good friend, Ajay Bisaria, I know is intending to join us tonight, India's High Commissioner in Ottawa. Thanks to everybody for joining. I really am pleased to be here at Nasscom's third International SME Conclave. We're a proud partner this year, Canada is, and I really want to congratulate Nasscom for hosting this important initiative. I mean, as Canadians, we greatly value our close collaboration with Nasscom, especially in acquainting world-savvy Indian SMEs with the advantages that Canada has to offer. Nasscom's tech business mission to Canada in November of last year is a real testimony to this, we think. I'm personally dedicated to growing this key business relationship and especially wish the Nasscom Canada Launchpad much success. I'm told by my staff that already the Launchpad is having an impact on Canada's SME landscape as the participants move forward with incorporating themselves and working on capacity building, you know, in the Greater Toronto region. I believe it may be in Brampton, the location itself. Today's event is just one more example of the Canada-India tech collaboration that holds so much potential for huge growth. In tech, but also in almost every other business sector, our commercial relations have real potential. Canada's economic partnership with India is already very successful. And let me give you some figures just to put it in perspective. Portfolio investment from Canada into India now reaches, we think, $65 billion. Two-way foreign direct investment is now at $5 billion. Trade in goods is at $10.5 billion, and trade in services exceeds, well, almost $7 billion. So you put that all together along with students, et cetera, and we have nearly a $100 billion bilateral commercial relationship. That's obviously very substantial, but frankly, from my point of view, it's not big enough. Two G20 countries with such complementary economies as ours, and two leading democracies, I would add, we really should be doing much more bilateral business to help build prosperity in both of our countries. So 100 billion, not nearly enough, I would say. And this isn't just the federal government's point of view. I know that the provinces who are represented at the meeting here today would both agree. New Brunswick has representation here in India. Quebec is here, British Columbia is here, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Ontario, all with people on the ground here in India to try to help build the relationship together with the federal government. And municipalities like Brampton, of course, are obviously also very involved in championing all of this. So for Indian companies who are looking to expand their business abroad, we think Canada really does offer the critical infrastructure they need to thrive and to grow globally. And this includes, of course, I mean, I think as Debjani was saying, really, we have a diverse and very inclusive economy. We have a skilled and talented workforce. We have the institutional support to boost innovation. We have expansive infrastructure, and we're investing more and more. We have generous tax incentives. I know everybody likes to hear that. And a base as being the only G7 country with free trade agreements with all of the other G7 countries, which gives you a tremendous platform to expand your business. And of course, a stable and predictable economic landscape. So we really have a wealth of talent when it comes to hiring skilled workers that meet international standards. 51% of Canadians are post-secondary graduates, making Canada the most educated population in the world. The close relationship between academic institutions, the market and industry really make Canada an ideal place to grow your business. For example, there are 40 business incubators affiliated with 96 Canadian universities, all are top quality. Canada's innovation hubs are thriving places for cutting-edge technology. The 5 technology superclusters in Canada in artificial intelligence, digital industries, advanced manufacturing, proteins, and ocean technology. Support companies choosing to innovate in Canada through market-facing partnerships with academia and with government. So locating your business in Canada also opens the doors of the world through our, beyond the G7 countries, with 15 trade agreements with 51 countries, potential access to 1.5 billion consumers with free trade access there. Canada also offers the strongest banking system among the G7 countries and the lowest average overall tax rate on new investments. So we're consistently ranked also as the best place in the world for quality of life, which is really important when you're looking at investing high-tech businesses in particular and highly qualified employees. In addition to all the advantages I just mentioned, Nasscom members, of course, can tap into Canada's global skills strategy, which allows Indian companies based in Canada to bring top international talent to work for their company. And as well, the intra-company transfer platform permits international companies to temporarily transfer qualified employees to Canada. We offer a startup visa program that supports immigrant entrepreneurs to apply for permanent resident status. All these things make Canada the ideal place to grow your business in a safe, secure, and stable environment. So as I said before, we already have a strong bilateral relationship, but there's huge potential to expand it even further, and especially in the areas of science and technology and innovation. So I really do encourage Nasscom members attending this conclave to take advantage of the many opportunities Canada has to offer to grow your business globally. Our Trade Commissioner service is always here to help. Just reach out to us here at the High Commission, and we're delighted to help you make the right decision about your future investments in Canada. With that, I'll end my pitch and turn it over to the other participants. I know you're looking forward to hearing from them. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner. And yes, we will be doing more to increase the bilateral trade. I'd like to introduce His Excellency Ajay Bisaria. High Commissioner, it's indeed been a tremendous pleasure to know you, and your enthusiasm to support the Nasscom delegation in November, with being physically present for the whole, practically the entire period, clearly highlights the support that the High Commission has provided to us. I think it's tremendous that we have people like you on the ground to support that industry. So can I request you for your thoughts, High Commissioner? Over to you.
Thank you, Shivendra. Namaskar. Good morning to friends in Canada. Good evening to friends in India. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of this Nasscom SME conclave. And I want to, of course, start by congratulating President Dr. Debjani Ghosh and you, Vice President Shivendra, for putting this event together. And of course, greetings to all the Canadian ministers and dignitaries who've joined us today. Just speaks to the value all of us attach to this event. And I want to especially, of course, greet my compatriot in arms in India, Cameron MacKay, His Excellency, the High Commissioner. We had an excellent conversation in New Delhi very recently in January, where we discussed, among other things, a huge potential in the IT sector and in the sector we are discussing today. This is the future of the India-Canada partnership, and I'm delighted we are talking about it today. Much of what Cameron has said is something that I would endorse. He's given the numbers of the kind of portfolio investment we have, of the bilateral exchange of over $100 billion, and pretty much the economic partnership is leading the rest of the relationship, and we are very proud to be part of that entire process. As Shivendra mentioned, I had the pleasure of welcoming the Nasscom delegation to Canada of over 30 companies, 30 IT companies from the SME sector who were in Canada in November, and that incidentally was the first in-person visit we had in COVID times in the last 2 years. So, that signaled the beginning of normalcy. I had the pleasure to visit with them Eastern Canada and visit some of the Atlantic seaboard IT locations in Canada. And for me, it was a great education and eye-opener of the kind of the interest that we have in the municipal governments, in the provincial governments, in Canada, the understanding of India's IT strengths and the hunger to create the kind of relationships that we saw emerging instantly as these companies interacted with each other. The massive effort in India towards creating an advanced digital infrastructure and providing digital services as a core utility to every Indian citizen under the Digital India program is what underlines the efforts we all make in the digital sector. So India's decade of the 2020s is beginning, and India's economy has seen a great deal of growth recently that is largely tech-driven, and this is certainly a process that we want to encourage. Information technology, the industry accounted for 8% of India's GDP in 2020. That gives you an illustration of how important this sector is for us. India's software product industry is expected to reach about a value of $100 billion plus by 2025. And that is something President Ghosh also alluded to. Indian companies are focusing to invest internationally to expand the global footprint and enhance global delivery centers. And that, I think, is what creates the basis of the partnership that we have. But at the same time, the innovation ecosystem will define our relationship between India and Canada. India is home to some of the most innovative and competitive digital companies and has become the largest sourcing destination in the world, accounting for more than 55% of the global market. And India and Canada also host very strong and diverse startup ecosystems. And India is now the third largest startup setup in the world, we know, with 88 unicorns, 44 of them appearing at the pandemic year 2021 alone. So we see excellent opportunities of collaboration between India and Canada in a range of sectors, and that includes artificial intelligence, sustainable technologies, digital healthcare, agrotech, and clean tech technologies. We also share a good deal of complementarities in this well-developed IT ecosystem. The massive scale of the IT market in India and the innovative but cost-effective services from Indian providers create a great deal of opportunities, and we saw this in the Eastern Seaboard and the recognition of these by Canadian IT firms to use this innovative approach for scaling up their operations and register a presence on a global scale. If you look at the footprint of India's IT companies, it's enhanced in with 4 new expansions, which were announced in 2021 alone. Overall, India's IT companies in Canada are now generating more than 20,000 jobs and helping Canadian companies compete in the global market. We have more than 20 Indian IT and fintech companies active today, and these are major players whom I've had the pleasure of meeting, like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, ICICI Bank, and each one of them is active, each one of them deeply enthusiastic about expansion and also about innovation. India's IT firms, their growing footprint is encouraging companies such as TCS, Infosys to launch digital development centers across Canada. So we see, going by what happened last year, Indian companies will be creating more than 5,000 new IT jobs in Canada over the next 5 odd years. Canadian companies can, of course, leverage the competitive services of the Indian IT and IT services companies to enhance their global footprint. But more than that, we are seeing opportunities coming out of the compatible capabilities, which make collaboration a win-win. We also see a India-Canada digital corridor coming in place. This could become a major growth pole in the evolving global innovation scenario, and it's presenting huge opportunities for partnerships that will be mutually beneficial. Where are the growth opportunities as we see the future? We see huge opportunities in sectors like telehealth, distance learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and virtual presence and meetings. And most enterprises are spending to revamp the infrastructure that they have in place to make use of these services. And of course, we also see at the G2G level, when we have these conversations with provinces, shared interests and perspectives in areas such as high-speed internet, in cybersecurity, enhanced digital access for all. And we're keen to take these interests ahead by deeper technical collaboration. So to conclude, I want to leave a couple of ideas for us to debate at this conclave. We have a digital corridor in place. We have an innovation corridor and a startup corridor, which we have been discussing for a while. Does it make sense for us to have a digital partnership, a formal one? We have models, and Nasscom knows those very well, with Japan, for instance, with the EU, for instance. Do we have enough critical mass of partnership here to have a digital partnership which can get deeper into each of the areas we're talking about? Second, can we create a digital fund? We know that the major investment firms, institutional investors have invested hugely in India and are very bullish about India. This $65 billion can easily double in the next few years. Does it make sense to have a digital fund of Canadian companies exclusively dedicated to the Indian startup sector and the tech sector? So I think these are the ideas which would perhaps be of great relevance, particularly to the SME sector. And Nasscom, with all this dynamism that you have exhibited, we hope you take these ideas forward. Let me stop right there, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, High Commissioner. And yes, I think partnership and the number of areas you mentioned, and some of the specific ideas that you've given, we will definitely discuss this as we move forward. Moving forward, I think the High Commissioners did mention that I think a lot of action is going to be happening in the regions, and we would start this whole thing by inviting the Honorable Arlene Dunn, New Brunswick's Minister for Aboriginal Affairs and Minister responsible for Economic Development, Small Businesses, Opportunities, New Brunswick. We were there, visiting you in your state in November, and a lot of our companies are very, very excited to be present there based on their assessment of the local ecosystem. And that's the reason why we said we will look at Launchpad in that region as well. Prior to being elected, Minister Dunn spent over 30 years representing both workers and employers in skilled trades through Canada and educating people about the values these jobs bring to the community. Over to you, Minister Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, and good evening, everyone. I am Arlene Dunn, as previously mentioned, New Brunswick's Minister responsible for Opportunities New Brunswick, and I am so pleased to be here with all of you today. Thank you for having me virtually at this exciting event. Opportunities New Brunswick was proud to welcome the Nasscom delegation of more than 50 delegates and show them around New Brunswick in November of 2021. Although the visit only lasted 48 hours, we packed a lot in, and more importantly, we were able to start a real conversation about attracting investment and people to our province. We were absolutely thrilled to spend 2 days with the Nasscom delegation, and we are thrilled to continue working together for the betterment of both of our communities, which is why I am so pleased to join you here today. Population growth, as you know, increasing investment attraction and expanding exports help drive the development of opportunities for new private sector investment in New Brunswick, and that's very important. Relationship building is critical, and we are very grateful for the relationship that we've built between New Brunswick and Nasscom. This Nasscom New Brunswick MOU signals the province of New Brunswick's focus on the India strategy. Opportunities New Brunswick is proud to see new companies beginning to choose New Brunswick as their destination of choice to open up shop and plant roots. These companies also have growth plans that would be very beneficial economically to all of the citizens of New Brunswick. I'm continually impressed by the hard work in this sector and by the dedication shown by members of this association. New Brunswick is proud to be part of Nasscom's first such initiative in Canada and excited to continue the partnership with the province of Nova Scotia and the city of Brampton to make the Launchpad vision a reality. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Minister. And yes, and we would love to be a part of your India strategy as it develops and moves forward. Can I now move on and invite the Honorable Susan Corkum-Greek, who was first elected to the Nova Scotia House of Assembly as MLA for Lunenburg in 2021. She serves as Minister of Economic Development and also sits on the Treasury and Policy Board. Minister, thank you so much for all your support. I remember you taking out time on a Saturday afternoon, and meet us in your constituency. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. I think you probably made it sure that it was bright and sunny for us as well. It doesn't get better than that. So without much ado, can I invite Minister Greek?
Good morning, Your Excellencies, my honorable colleague from neighboring New Brunswick, Minister Dunn, Your Worship, Mayor Brown, and especially the leadership and members of Nasscom, my new friends, and some still to be made friends. It was such a great pleasure to join you, to meet you personally last fall. Ironically, though it is the strength of this very sector that has enabled us to be connected in so many ways during these past couple of years, it was nonetheless a thrill to have face-to-face conversations when Nasscom's delegation came to Nova Scotia last fall. And as mentioned, it was a great personal pleasure to welcome a number of your delegates to my hometown of Lunenburg, a UNESCO World Heritage Site here on Nova Scotia's South Shore. Beyond all of that, it is wonderful to see tangible progress coming from those meetings. Nasscom's leadership recognized there is a growing link and momentum between India and Nova Scotia. And the Nasscom Launchpad project is one more positive step in the right direction. Nasscom and Nova Scotia Business Inc. have literally just signed, I believe they're still blowing on the ink to make sure it dries without smudging, on a memorandum of understanding. It will make it possible for companies such as yours to have a soft entry into Nova Scotia and our IT sector, and with the support and integration expertise of NSBI and our many partners here on the ground. In Nova Scotia, we work every day to attract innovative, globally competitive companies to come establish a business location here. And once you're here, we work with you to build export capacity. With Nova Scotia Business Inc., you can be assured you will be well connected with the broader private sector and our strong academic community. And it doesn't have to be all work, which we hope we conveyed with the outing to Lunenburg and other highlights of Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia has long been known as Canada's ocean playground. We are surrounded by the sea on all sides. And historically, we've been known as the place of wooden ships and iron men. Well, today, Nova Scotia is increasingly recognized for a different type of talent that has resulted in a young, globally connected IT industry cluster that's contributing billions of dollars to our economy and directly employing 11,000 Nova Scotians. And we only want to grow from there. This makes us all very, very proud. But I want to emphasize that attracting and integrating new innovative global companies like yours adds not only to our economy, but the very fabric of our province. As Minister of Economic Development, I look forward to Nasscom members working, living, and thriving in communities across Nova Scotia. Thank you so much, and good day.
Thank you very much, Minister, and we look forward to this partnership. Moving on, I wanted to invite Mayor Brown. Mayor Brown has a long involvement in serving in the government. He was first elected in 2000 as councillor in the city of Barrie. He served 2 terms on city council before getting elected as the federal member of parliament. He was re-elected in 2008 by a landslide and 2011 by the largest margin in the city of Barrie history. Elected in October 2018 as mayor of Brampton, with a focus on creating the economic climate for new investment and jobs. And I've seen how focused you are, Mayor Brampton, when we spent a day with you in Brampton. And thank you for the time that you took for us. It'd be good to hear from you in terms of the relationship that City of Brampton has with India, and how could we look to further intensify the partnership for our members? Over to you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Shivendra, for this wonderful opportunity to join a discussion with such an impressive group of panelists, both high commissioners who I have tremendous regard for. I want to start off by saying we're so grateful that Nasscom spent some time in the city of Brampton. And there is an enduring appreciation and love for India in my community. We probably have the largest South Asian diaspora in Canada, in our community, and you see it reflected in every aspect of our city, from recreation to cuisine to the spirit, to the entrepreneurial spirit. And I know in a democracy, there's always a variety of opinions, but I want everyone to know there is a love for India in our community, and I was proud to be present when we had the largest India flag unveiling in Canada in front of our city hall this past summer. There are many of my residents who, on a daily basis, look at what they can do back home in India, how they can build on those relationships, and it's why we're so excited about what Nasscom is embarking upon. To let you know a little bit about the Brampton dynamic, we're right next to Pearson Airport. We are the fastest growing big city in Canada, over 700,000 residents, 75,000 businesses. We represent 234 different cultures, 115 different languages. And in terms of that mosaic of cultures, you see the Indo-Canadian diaspora represented from top to bottom. You know, we even have Malali boat races in the summer. That would be reflective of what you'd see in India, in Kerala, but literally from Gujarati business associations to Punjabi chambers, we've got a beautiful reflection of the Indian mosaic in our community. I personally had the chance to go to India 20 times, and you don't go to India 20 times unless you love the people, the country, and the culture. And even though I've been 20 times, I feel I'd have to go another 80 times to really see the incredible extent of the country. In November of last year, we hosted a successful Nasscom delegation to Brampton at Beehive, which is a soft landing space for international companies looking to expand in Canada through the Startup Visa program. A great friend to the Canada-India relationship is Vikram Khurana. I know he's been a part of a number of delegations to India. I was actually with him when Prime Minister Harper made his first visit to India. So Vikram has been very involved with the Canada-India relationship, and he's taken a leadership role for us at Beehive, making our community a landing spot for tech companies from India. I would say there's a real excitement in our tech community right now in Brampton. Rogers just announced, and Rogers being one of the largest tech companies in Canada, $100 million investment in our downtown. So we're building this innovation corridor in downtown Brampton focused on growing tech companies, jobs of the future. And when you get companies the size of Amazon, we have Amazon, MDA, Canon Canada, you get companies in the tech space like these companies, there's something special happening. And so, I wanted to note that we are really excited to work with Nasscom. We're really excited to formalize this relationship, and I'm looking forward to the discussion today.
Thank you so much, Mayor Brown, and I can absolutely endorse that it felt like mini India being in Brampton, and I'm sure you have a large role to play, and your 20 visits to India is definitely an endorsement of that. Thank you so much, ministers and the mayor. Moving on, can I now request Kenneth Wong, who's the Senior Trade Commissioner, Consulate General of Canada in Bangalore. And thank you so much, Kenneth. We spent a good day together in Canada when we were there. Thanks for all your support to this partnership. Over to you. Kenneth.
There we go. Yes, I'm unmuted now. Thank you. It's good seeing you again, Shivendra. This is my first opportunity to speak to you and your delegation, and to any Indian delegation since I've arrived. I just got here on Sunday, so I'm still a little bit jet lagged and living out of a suitcase, but really hit the ground running and have been trying to catch up on all my files and my activities. But again, it was a great honor to see you and Mayank and the rest of the delegation in November in Toronto, where I was living. So thank you for this opportunity. So my name is Kenneth Wong. I'm the newly arrived Senior Trade Commissioner in Bangalore. I'm responsible for trade and investment and science and technology and innovation for south of India. So our office in Bangalore has a large trade staff, but we also have satellite offices in Chennai and Hyderabad as well. So while I'm new to India, I'm not new to international trade and investment. This is my fourth overseas posting. I was in Johannesburg, Los Angeles, and Beijing. But notably in Los Angeles, I was the investment officer and helped a number of companies open up offices in Canada. Among the better known are Pixar and Sony ImageWorks. The latter actually involved a lot of analysis of their business case and the value proposition of two large provinces at opposite ends of the country, and we went through that. So I would be pleased to work with any of your companies to do that SWOT analysis of where they should locate, because Canada is a big country. You've seen some really great spots, Shivendra. You visited New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, as well as the central Toronto, Ontario region. So that's a great thing that you've been doing for the Nasscom member companies. Next slide, please. Oh, there we go. That was my slide. Okay, next slide. Gotta get synchronized here. So, next slide again. Oh, wait, no, we ought to head back, please. I'm on the Canada Prime Investment Destination slide. Slide number 2. There we go. So Canada offers a certain number of advantages, including an excellent business environment and workforce, which is conducive to innovation. High Commissioner MacKay mentioned some of these points. We offer access to major markets beyond Canada. And of course, it's a great place to live. all points that High Commissioner MacKay touched on. I'll go into these in a little more depth. Next slide, please. So highly competitive business environment. Next slide. So Canada is one of the best countries in the G20 for doing business. The country ranks well in political stability and openness to trade. We rank second in the G20 and stood 6th overall in Forbes' latest 161 country annual study, the best countries for business. That was done in 2019. We have low business complexity. Canada ranked 4th among the G20 countries with the least complex jurisdiction for the conduct of business. Next slide, please. We offer efficiencies having to do with effort and time. According to the World Bank Group study, out of 190 countries, Canada ranks 23rd overall and 15th for getting credit. We're also 3rd for starting a business. We have the lowest cost of starting business in North America. In Canada, the costs were rated as $166 US. The US was $725, Mexico was almost $1,500. Next slide, please. So the Global Entrepreneurship Index measures the health of a country's entrepreneurship ecosystem. This is going to be of great interest to your membership in Nasscom. So for entrepreneurs, Canada's 3rd of 137 in the world for best business climates, according to the Global Entrepreneurship Index. So amongst the G20, we would be 2nd. Next slide, please. Of the 38 countries in the OECD, Canada ranked 27th for corporate taxation. So we have among the lowest taxes. Some examples where Canada stands out: imports of inputs and machinery for manufacturing enter Canada duty-free. We have full tax deductions in the first year for the cost of machinery and equipment for goods manufacturing. And we have an accelerated investment incentive that allows businesses to recover initial costs for capital investment very quickly. Next slide, please. Canada has very sound financial institutions. Again, High Commissioner MacKay touched on this. Some of you will remember the various US, UK, Belgian, Icelandic, Spanish, Japanese, and Asian banking crises of the 90s and the 2000s. Canada's banking system is sound and safe. 6 out of 141 countries. 7 of Canada's banks are among the world's top 50 safest commercial banks. Next slide, please. And we offer strong protections for investors and their capital. We're 1st in the G7 and 7th out of 131 countries covered by the Global Innovation Index in measuring the ease of investor protection. We're 2nd in the G7 and 7th out of 190 countries covered by the World Bank in measuring protection of minority investors. Next slide, please. A talented, dynamic workforce. Next. So Canada's workforce, we have superior management skills. We're 1st in the G20 in a study measuring the extent to which management education meets the needs of the business community. In 2021, the UK's Financial Times Global MBA ranked 4 Canadian schools of management among the top 100 in the world. Many of you will have heard of them: Rotman at U of T, Desautels at McGill, Ivy at Western University, and Smith at Queen's University. As High Commissioner MacKay mentioned, Canada is one of the most educated workforces and talent pools in the world, 2nd to none in the OECD, with 60% of its population aged 25 to 64 having received some form of post-secondary education. Next slide. So Canada, and on tech talent, we have Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal ranked among the top 10 cities in North America with dynamic tech sectors. Toronto added 81,000 tech jobs between 2016 and 2020, ranking 1st among all North American cities. These cities, along with Waterloo, Quebec City, Ottawa, Edmonton, Calgary, offer highly qualified tech talent and the lowest total cost, so that's wages and rent, out of 50 North American cities. Next slide, please. Canada has a very diverse workforce. It has one of the world's most multilingual societies with over 200 languages identified as mother tongue. Nearly 1 in 5 Canadians speak more than one language at home. and 18% of Canadians speak both English and French. I learned French as an adult. Even though I was born in Canada, I spoke Cantonese as my mother tongue. So you'll find that with many, many Canadians, if you need multilingual talent, you'll find Canadians that have these multiple language skills. And if you're on a globalization path, you're going to find that kind of workforce in Canada more likely than in anywhere else in the world. Next slide, please. And we have an excellent environment for leading edge innovation. Next slide. So there are strong interconnects between the various players in the innovation ecosystem. You can see the interconnect between government, post-secondary, private sector, and not-for-profits. Next. Canada ranks 4th in the G7, ahead of the United States, Japan, and Germany in terms of support of business R&D. Programs like the Scientific Research and Experimental Development Tax Incentive is Canada's largest R&D program, providing $3 billion annually in tax incentives for businesses that want to do R&D in Canada. Next slide, please. Canada also fosters innovation by supporting private-public collaboration to the tune of $950 million by 2028 through 5 industry-led sectors. These superclusters are dense areas of business activity characterized by a large number of companies and post-secondary institutions and research institutions. You'll see the sectors that we have highlighted for the superclusters. We also foster innovation by supporting advanced research and innovation and attracting top talent to Canada with our very open immigration and intercompany transferee programs. Next slide, please. Oh, one more. I think we're behind. There we go. And this includes direct funding support as well. The Strategic Innovation Fund supports Canada as a top destination for business to invest through these 5 streams, encouraging R&D, facilitating growth and expansion, attracting and retaining large-scale investments, advancing industrial research, and supporting large-scale national innovation ecosystems through high-impact collaborations across Canada. Next slide, please. And then the easy access to markets. In terms of market access, Canada has 15 free trade agreements that provide preferred market access to 51 countries, including all of the G7, as High Commissioner MacKay mentioned, for a total of access to 1.5 billion consumers, covering $52 trillion of global GDP. Next slide, please. And of course, oh, one more. Yes. And most significantly to all of you on this call, our preferential access to the North American market is second to none. With the Canada-US-Mexico agreement in force, CUSMA, Canadian-based businesses have virtually tariff-free market access to nearly 496 million consumers and a combined GDP of nearly $24 trillion. Many Canadian production hubs are very close to US markets, with 16 of Canada's 20 largest cities within a 1.5-hour drive to the US border. So as a member of this CUSMA agreement, Canada offers foreign investors this kind of preferential access and into the United States and Mexican markets. Next slide. And finally, it's an excellent place to live. Next slide. Our overall quality of life is the world's best. We enjoy the highest standards of living, according to a survey done by US News and World Report. Next slide, please. We're 4th in the G20, measured by GDP per capita. Next slide. And we're a leader in social progress. We rank 6th among 168 countries in a study of social progress. Canada's overall rank is largely based on the foundations of well-being dimension. We're 6th in the world for that. It's particularly strong on environmental quality. We're 3rd, which is a subdimension of this foundations of well-being. Next one. And it's a safe and just society. The Economist Intelligence Unit, their Democracy Index in 2020 and their Global Peace Index of 2021 ranks Canada as the most democratic and peaceful country in the G20. Next slide. So, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, Canada offers an excellent business environment and talented workforce, which is conducive to innovation. We offer access to major markets beyond Canada, and it's a great place to live. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with any of you directly in my next few years as the Senior Trade Commissioner in Southern India to help you increase your business and investment with Canada. Thank you, Shivendra, for giving me this chance to speak to your audience.
Thank you so much, Kenneth, and I think that was really elaborate, and I'm sure we'll try and disseminate that information to our member companies. Last but not the least, I would like to invite the man who's been instrumental in bringing Nasscom Canada relation to this stage. I think Andrew, when we sat down, I think in October, still COVID, we decided to work it out. It finally did work out, and thank you so much for all the support, working behind the scenes and pushing diligently for this enhanced cooperation. Without you and Varun, this wouldn't have been possible. So would love to have you provide your closing remarks. Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Shivendra. And in fact, I think in between every wave of COVID, we had the opportunity to meet. So we stayed in touch face to face as best we could. So thank you for that. And good evening, everyone, and good morning to our friends and colleagues in India and both in Canada. Let me begin by thanking our organizers. First off, Debjani Ghosh, President of Nasscom, Shivendra Singh, who we just heard from, Vice President of the Global Trade Development at Nasscom, and our good friends Mayank and Saurabh for the strong partnership that we share between Nasscom and Canada. We are grateful that Nasscom has chosen Canada for its launchpad. In my 4 years here in India, I view this as one of the most significant milestones in highlighting the advantages that Canada offers to today's globally minded Indian SMEs. In fact, when I arrived 4 years ago, one of the first meetings I had was with President Debjani. But I want to talk and take a different tact than the other speakers. I want to talk to you about being an Indian SME setting up in Canada and why that's critical. It's fitting that Canada is your country partner at this conference, because in Canada, Indian technology companies will feel at home. We too are a nation of SMEs. SMEs in Canada contribute significantly to our economy. In fact, small businesses make up 98% of all of the employer businesses in Canada. And although we're a country of nearly 40 million, we only have 1.2 million businesses, of which 3,000 or so would be considered large businesses. Small businesses in Canada employ nearly 10 million people, and that's more than 2/3 of our total labor force. SMEs also play an important role in employing Canadians and are significant drivers towards the economic recovery. And Canada recognizes that SMEs are the engine of job creation in Canada and contribute significantly to the growth of our economy. We are the Trade Commissioner Service here in India. It is Canada's 3rd largest country program. And here, 85% of our client base are SMEs coming from Canada. And if you as an SME set up in Canada, we will also assist you from your operations in Canada. But let's take a look at COVID. All countries stepped in to support their industry, but Canada did so exceptionally well. It was responsive and significant. We addressed the company pain points. In fact, we immediately made available a wage subsidy program and provided 1.7 million businesses with over $50 billion. And this allowed the companies to keep their staff employed. We also gave loans directly to Canadian companies ranging from 40,000 to 60,000 Canadian, of which 25% was a grant. So Canada gave out 32 billion in loans, of which 8 billion was a grant. And remember, we only have 1.2 million businesses in Canada, so nearly 2/3 of companies in Canada access this loan. And all this to highlight that Canada is well positioned to offer Indian SMEs looking to invest, expand, and innovate the critical infrastructure that they need to thrive and globally from their base in Canada. So let me bring us to a conclusion. Canada's strong economic fundamentals are key to push recovery forward. And some of the key facts that you've heard today represent Canada's fast recovery following the pandemic. In fact, economists forecast that Canada will grow at a GDP rate of 4.8 to 6.7% in the coming year. Our vaccination rate is among the top 10 highest in the world. Our labor participation rate has recovered to 99% of the levels pre-COVID. And the average annual hours worked by Canadian workers have recovered to 98% of pre-COVID levels. So the key takeaways: Canada helps global companies make money and minimize its risks. It offers an incredible space to live, to innovate, and to grow your business to become a world-class industry leader. The Trade Commissioner Service here in India, we have 8 offices across key Indian cities. It is a team of 50 trade officers to support you and your business for trade and investment collaboration with Canada. Our team in India will work for you, and we're free. Contact us to succeed with Canada. But before I wrap up today's session, let me close on a couple of comments we've heard in today's presentations. From President Debjani, she spoke of the India-Canada bilateral ties, that these are underpinned by shared values of democracy and diversity and our long-standing people-to-people ties. And that's really important in today's world. High Commissioner Bisaria, and I quote, "Tech, this is the future of Canada-Indian relations." And Ken Wong in his presentation mentioned that Canada is the global tech leader. So I want to leave you with that tonight to think about. And this concludes our Canada session. Let me thank everyone for attending, and a special thanks to our friends at Nasscom again, and good night and bonsoir. Thank you, Shivendra.
Thank you so much. A big thank you to both the High Commissioners, High Commissioner MacKay, High Commissioner Bisaria, Andrew, Kenneth, and everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Minister. Bye-bye.